Within the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, also known as STEM fields of study, and in the career world, women face the problem of severe underrepresentation.
For our final project, we wanted to share this problem with young women at the middle school and high school levels, as well as provide them with information about collegiate women who are currently pursuing a degree in the STEM field. The goal of sharing this information was to hopefully create interest towards pursuing a degree in one of the STEM categories.
The problem statement which we hoped to address in our project was the issue of underrepresentation of women in science and science based majors is very prevalent in today's society. There are not enough female leaders in the scientific community. This is not because women are incompetent in STEM fields, but rather because there are negative stereotypes that deter women from entering science based majors. We seek to highlight women that are currently pursuing a degree in STEM concentrations. Our hope is that by highlighting these outstanding women, that will encourage younger females to consider seeking a career in science.
In the background research we conducted for this project, we learned several things about the underrepresentation of women in STEM. The first article we looked at dealt specifically with women in computing majors and the lack of female representation within that specific field. The article found that women in computing majors received little encouragement from parents, friends, and classmates, and this continued throughout their entire college career. The article also found that this lack of support was detrimental to the women's commitment to their field of study.
The next article examined the effect of gender science stereotypes on the science identification and career aspirations of undergraduate men and women in the sciences. The article found that while women experienced a weaker science identity and career aspirations in the face of strong gender stereotypes, men had the opposite effect. The men often had stronger ties to science in the face of strong stereotypes, most likely due to the fact that most stereotypes of men in science are positive in regards to their skill level. The article also offered the suggestion that women are most likely underrepresented in the STEM fields, not because they are underqualified, but rather the highly qualified women choose to pursue a degree outside the STEM fields.
The final article that we read dealt with the need for more women to be represented in science. The article made some excellent points about how the lack of women in science is not due to their lack of innate abilities. Additionally, the scientific community would benefit from a more diverse group of people, as that would allow more innovative solutions to problems than those generated from groups with more similar characteristics. The article offered some insight into why there is a lack of women in science, stating that qualified women fail to pursue a career in science because they are not encouraged to do so, question whether they have what it takes to be successful, or lack female role models who would help them envision themselves as faculty.
In order to get more facts on the lack of women in the STEM fields, we also looked at a report issued by the U.S. Department of Commerce on women in the STEM fields. We found that women are less likely to hold jobs in the STEM field, even though they have almost equal representation in the workforce as a whole. Women also hold a disproportionately low share of STEM undergraduate degrees, particularly in engineering. As you can see from the graph, women hold almost half of all the jobs in the workforce, but less than 25% of the STEM jobs in the United States.
We wanted to address the problem we had identified through community-based intervention by distributing information on women in the STEM field with an educational handout and a short presentation. We chose to provide this information to the rural agricultural town of Ollawite, Virginia.
We were specifically hoping to educate young women in middle and high school about the opportunities out there for those interested in pursuing a degree or career in the STEM fields. We also chose to highlight specific examples of collegiate women that were currently enrolled in a STEM major and what their future endeavors were.
The goal of providing this information to the young women was to hopefully inspire them to pursue a degree in science or engineering. We plan to qualitatively observe the students' reactions in order to gauge the response to the information that had been presented.
We sought approval to give our presentation at Isle of Wight Academy, where Jackson's mother is currently working as a science teacher. We developed a pamphlet and a short presentation that would be appropriate for the target audience of middle and high school age students.
After giving the presentation and distributing the pamphlets, we would take questions from the students as a way of qualitatively assessing their responsiveness to the topics that we had covered in the presentation. Finally, we plan to compile all of our results in a PowerPoint format as our final project for this class.
We scheduled to give our presentation to the students over NC State spring holiday on April 2nd, 2015, and we made plans to visit several different science classes at the high school and middle school levels.
We passed out pamphlets after the presentation and then took questions from the students. After we had given our presentations and taken questions, we also talked to the teachers to get their perspectives and to see if they had any suggestions on how we could impact more young scholars with our message.
We arrived at Isle of Wight on April 2nd, prepared to give our presentations to multiple science classes because we thought it would make a greater impact to talk about the STEM fields while the students were studying a related subject.
This is an overview of the pamphlet that we distributed to the students in the classes. As you can see, we want to first give the students some of the facts about how underrepresented women are in the STEM fields and gave them a brief overview of what the STEM fields of study were.
After giving the overview of the seemingly negative aspects of women in STEM, we wanted to focus on the more positive side of our project. We gave the students facts about the advantages for women who choose to pursue a degree and career in STEM, such as the chance to earn more money. We also included 2 examples of current female students in STEM fields and things they have gotten to experience as a result of their majors.
The 2 students we chose to examine were Sarah, a junior in biomedical engineering that has been given the opportunity to work as an officer for the Navy after she graduates. Becca is also a junior in nuclear engineering who has had the opportunity to intern for a manufacturing plant and has plans to work at a nuclear power plant this summer.
Here you see some of the high school female students looking over the pamphlet that we had passed out after our presentation. Most of the female students were surprised by the kind of internships and other opportunities that were offered in the STEM fields.
We also distributed the information to middle school classes, and the responses were also very positive. The female students were all very impressed with what collegiate women were able to do and accomplish in STEM fields, and many expressed interest in getting involved with the STEM field in order to have similar experiences.
The teachers that let us present to their classes were very enthusiastic about their students getting information about the opportunities available for those who pursue a STEM degree. And they offered to send copies of the pamphlet to other science teachers in order to increase the amount of students that would have access to the information.
The classrooms we visited had a fairly equal gender distribution of males and females. We opted to give the students a pamphlet over creating a website because we felt this would guarantee a way to make sure that the students saw the information over relying on them visiting a website, which they may not have access to later on, for various reasons.
Our presentation and the information we gave out was well received by students of both genders. Most of the female students wanted more information on opportunities in the STEM fields, and they showed a lot of interest in the examples of collegiate women that were highlighted in our pamphlet.
The male students were surprised to learn about the unequal distribution of women in STEM fields, and most said they had no reasons for thinking that women are less qualified for the science and engineering fields.
We offered all the students a chance to ask questions on the information they had received in order to better understand their thoughts and concerns. The students were most curious about what could be done as a whole to get more women involved in STEM fields. We drew on examples from previous course materials and tried our best to leave a lasting impression that would impart the young women, especially, to have the desire to pursue a field of study in STEM.
Some of the main things that we took away from giving our presentation and listening to the questions the students had were that girls in the middle school and high school levels were receptive to the idea of pursuing a degree or career in the STEM field, and were more so inclined to be interested when they had examples of other collegiate women that were having success in similar fields. This relates back to the article Walking a Tightrope by Wayne about being a woman in science, and how it is easier to stay in the field when you are surrounded by women to support you and serve as a role model. Like in her quote, I sought out a woman mentor and feminist colleagues. Both provided critical support for my scientific career.
We also saw that the male students were just as surprised as the female students that women were underrepresented in the STEM fields. This challenge to the current mindset of the scientific community could mean that society is shifting towards a more equal distribution in the future. It is necessary to involve males in what may be seen as only a woman's issue because it is the only way to truly change the system. In Kaufman's Addressing and Involving Men and Boys article, he argues the importance of involving young boys and men in the issues that seem to only involve women, because leaving out men and boys can lead us to only address symptoms of the underlying gender system that structures the lives of women and men, rather than developing initiatives and programs that allow us to get to the heart of the problem.
Our project ties into several of the course materials that we have examined throughout the whole semester. One example would be the interview of Evelyn Hammonds by Amy Sands, where Hammond states that it started coming out more and more that you couldn't be a serious scientist and a woman. This relates to our project because we examine how women are vastly underrepresented in the STEM degrees and careers, which reinforces the stereotypes that women aren't supposed to be scientists.
We are also able to relate to the Science, Sex, and Stereotypical Images in Scientific Advertising article by Barbercheck, where she examines the ways women are portrayed in various advertisements found in popular scientific magazines. She finds that there is a severe underrepresentation of women in these ads, and women are usually not depicted as serious scientists when they are shown. This suggests if women perceive that structural barriers in the social system of science will impede any potential rewards of a scientific career, they may choose another career in which the potential costs do not outweigh the potential benefits. This creates the problem of women who are brilliant and capable of achieving great success in the STEM fields, missing out because they feel that they will not be well received in the scientific community because it is so male-oriented.
The main goal of our presentation was to impact the community by getting more middle and high school female students to consider choosing a major and a career in a STEM field of study. We gave these young women information on the current status of women in STEM and opportunities that are available to them if they choose to study in this field. By doing so, we hope to inspire them to be more seriously considering of scientific fields of study and change the future gender distribution in the scientific community.
We also reached out to the male students to make them aware of the current gender bias that is within the STEM fields. We did this so that they too could help work towards a more equal representation of women in the sciences in the future.
We learned a great deal from completing this project. For example, when you increase the availability of information of the opportunities available to women in the STEM fields, it will cause an increased interest and commitment to pursue a career in the scientific community.
We also learned that women interested in underrepresented fields of study, such as STEM, benefit from a strong support system and having other women as role models in similar fields of study. A lot of young women and men are unaware of the vast gender difference within the STEM majors and career fields, which is particularly alarming because some women might not know what they are getting into when they decide on pursuing a degree in the STEM field.
We also found from the students that we talked to that the majority of young men or women do not hold any strong beliefs that women are underqualified to pursue a degree or hold a career in the STEM field.
This is our works cited page for both our news sources used in the development of our presentation, as well as the sources that were taken from the course materials.
Thank you for watching our presentation, and we hope you enjoyed it.